Well, with that, let's come on to a standing position first so that we know what parts we're actually working with. Walk around a little bit and just notice as you walk around, what is happening in the pelvis as you plant one foot? Our pelvis is a joint. It has 3 joints to be exact. It has one on each side of the sacrum, and then it has one right in the middle, the pubic symposium, which I think is just an interesting word they chose. And all of these joints, they're not meant to have a lot of mobility, but they do need to move a little bit. When the sacrum moves a lot, that's when sometimes we think it's low back pain, but it may be the sacrum has got a little off base. It can also be that if you're standing, now I might need to come to standing. I know you can't see my head, and that's okay. But standing and just shift from side to side. Your hips have to be able to negotiate this movement too. And then rock back and forth. And then come to a still point and then lift one heel and lower. Lift the other. Is that available without everything shifting with it? So your upper body stays still as the heel lifts. So that we're talking with our inner obliques here. And they too can get a little lazy. We'll turn sideways. The pelvis, an anterior tilt is when the front part of the pelvis sits lower than the back. That if we have the green light reflex, this may be the posture where everything is sort of shifted forward more. The red light, we may have more of a posterior where the front is sitting up, sort of hiked up, and the front body collapses. And taking your hands to the rim of the pelvis, your index fingers on the front and your thumbs on the back bumps. Ideally, these sits about at the same height, so neither dipping forward or back. Again, it can be a little hard to gauge. If we have scoliosis of the spine, one side may just sit higher than the other. So you can also sense, and this is really good to do in front of a mirror, when you place your index fingers on the front bumps, notice, are they at the same height? Or does one sit higher than the other? Because in the side that's higher, then we know that there is some congestion on that side. And when we do all the side work, the lateral work, that is to accommodate that. So with this information, we are going to get to it. So invite you to come onto your back. And as you come onto your back body, and I covered my entire mat tonight, and I have a lot of leg slides. Before we get that far, let's do an assessment where gravity has been switched. No longer compressing. And notice your sacrum. Are you laying more at the bottom of the sacrum towards the tailbone? That again may indicate more of an anterior pelvic tilt. Or are you more towards the top of the sacrum, towards the lumbar spine? That could be more of the a posterior tilt. The other one was the anterior, which means again the front might be a little snug. And let's bend up the knees. Placing the hands on the lower abdomen. And we begin, as we always do, with our diaphragmatic breathing. Inhaling and exhaling. Belly expands on the in-breath and relaxes down towards the spine on the out-breath. The only muscle that we are using right now is the diaphragm. Everything else is just hanging out. And because the diaphragm, via the fascia, it connects to everything in the body, we create this very subtle fascial drag moving up and down as we breathe. And if there is no movement in this area, all our movement patterns become diminished, challenged. The diaphragm also hangs out with the psoas muscles, these great muscles on each side of the spine that travels down through the pelvis. And that's where it picks up a buddy, the iliacus, that sits on the inside of the pelvic rim. And then they both attach to your upper thigh bones. It's part of the hip flexor. Here, if you press your feet down and place your hands in your front groins, you can feel your hip flexors turning on. Relax the legs. Let's do that again. Press the feet down. Feel there's some stringiness there. That action starts all the way up in the solar plexus, so above the belly button. So our core, our mobility, if you will, is part of the core and vice versa. So to provide stability, because the pelvis also holds the bottom of our basket. So now as you breathe in and out, the belly expands all directions, but also bring your awareness to the pelvic floor. So as you inhale, there is a very subtle downward movement. And as you exhale, an upward movement. So the pelvic floor follows the diaphragm. It mimics that action. We're going to make that a little bit more conscious, the notions from yoga, our bandhas, the lifts, or sometimes called the locks, not as a key door lock, but as a lock of holding or suspending. So breathing in, everything is suspended downward, but as you exhale, now draw the pelvic floor up, and maybe a sense of drawing the sits bones a little closer together, or drawing the tailbone towards the pubic bone. And as you inhale, let that go. Now exhale again, draw the pelvic floor up, contracting the area between sits bones and pubic bone and tailbone. And we let that go. And we'll do it one more time. Take a breath in, everything expands, and then exhale. Contracting, draw the pelvic floor up. So we're going to add this to our arch and flatten. So on your next in-breath, we'll arch the low back. We'll feel the low back contracting and moving away from the mat. As you exhale, now draw the belly in and up. We do that every week, but now draw the pelvic floor up as well. And then inhale, let it all relax. Breathing in and out. Take a full breath in and out. And we'll repeat. Inhale, arch. It doesn't have to be a huge arch. Enough you sense the muscles of the low back contracting. Exhale, abdomen begins to pull in and up and draws the pelvic floor up with it. Pelvic floor draws up with it. And we let go on the in-breath. Full breath in and out. And one more time. Contracting, low back, muscles in the lumbar spine. And then exhale, front seam. Draw the abdomen in and up along with the bottom of the basket, pelvic floor. And then letting it go. Breathing in and out. Now notice if the breath has gotten a little fuller. We often carry a lot of tension in our lower abdomen. And fun fact, if we have a tendency to carry tension around our jaw, then there is likely tension in the pelvic floor as well. These two, same fascial line. So let's do it one more time. Relax the jaw, and on your next in-breath, arch. Everything relaxes, including the jaw, and as you exhale, belly pulls in and up, sensing and zipping, and then pelvic floor draws up. Keep your jaw relaxed. And letting go. Breathing in and out. And take a breath in, and as you exhale, slowly slide the right leg out, all the way up. And then let it relax completely. Take an extra breath here. And then as you exhale, we're going to draw the leg up. And on your next in-breath, slide the left leg out. Once it's all the way out, let it relax. Sliding the leg back out. And inhale, the right slides out again. As you relax, bring your awareness to the front groins, or can you let go a little bit more? And exhale, slide the leg in. Taking a buffer breath before you slide the left out. Sliding along the floor, not lifting it. Easy slide. Inviting a little bit more release. And we slide it up again. One more time on each side. Sliding the leg out. Letting it go. An extra breath. And sliding the leg back in. I think most of us, maybe, I'm painting with a big brush here. With COVID, we have spent more time sitting down, so the psoas shortens. Inhale, left leg when you're ready. Sliding it out, taking a breath, let it release a little bit more. And exhale, sliding it in. We'll add a little bit more hip flexing action to this. Take a breath in for nothing, and as you exhale, draw the right knee to the chest. Inhale, lower the heel to the floor and slide the leg up all the way. Let it relax. On your next exhalation, sliding the leg back in again, draw the knee towards the chest. Hip flexors are completely contracted here. Slowly relax the foot to the floor, knee still bent, and then slide it out slowly. Relaxing. A sense of breathing all the way into your right leg. We'll do it one more time. Breath in for nothing. And as you exhale, draw the knee up all the way in. Hip flexors contract. And inhale slowly, releasing the foot, down, sliding it out. Slide the left leg out so they're both out straight. Just pause. And toggle your awareness between right hip and left hip. Sense the breathing in your lower right side and your lower left side. Just one a little bit fuller. We'll bend the right knee up, place the foot on the ground. And as you exhale, slide the left leg up, drawing it in. And as slowly as you can, lower the foot and slide the leg out. And then letting go. Breathing in and out. Exhale, we'll draw the leg in again. Knee towards the chest. Releasing the foot to the floor and slide it out. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Let the whole leg flop, relax. Again, a sense of breathing all the way down into your left hip, leg. One more time. Exhaling, sliding the left leg up. And slowly, keeping the pelvis steady as you lower the leg down and slide it out. And letting it go. We'll slide the right leg up. Breathing in and breathing out. Sliding the arms up. They are slightly above shoulder height. Let's press up through the right heel. Press up through the right heel. We're going to let that go. And repeat. Pressing up through the right heel. Let it go. And then as you repeat, now begin to invite the right hip with you. And let it go. So the hip now slides down. Inhale, reach out through the heel, the hip, and then relax. Make it easy. Again, press out through the heel, hip draws down, and let go. Moving at a pace that's comfortable for your body. So not moving too much, but not too little either. Now next time you press out through the heel and hip, reach out through your right arm. Reaching slightly back and let that go. So working on the side seam. Pressing out through the heel, the hip draws down, but the right arm draws up. And letting it go. Slow and easy. Pandiculation. Like a very gentle extension or stretch. So you've been moving the range that is comfortably available for your body. Overshooting the target is not beneficial. One more time. And letting go. Pause. Breathing in and out. Toggle your awareness between the right hip and the left hip. The right and the left lower abdomen. And then the upper chest, the upper trunk. Notice if the breath feels a little fuller on one side. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. And we will begin on the left, pressing out through the heel only. And letting it go. Slow and easy. A gentle rhythm. Take a very slow walk on your back with that heel strike that we need to have for a healthy gait cycle. As you press out through the heel. And then begin to invite the hip down with the heel. Make it easy. Not straining. And then we begin to lengthen the left arm back. So as you press up through the heel and the hip, lengthen the left arm back, and everything slides back where we started. unhurried ease. What muscles are firing? What is happening in the left side of the body that is not happening in the right? Is anything happening on the right side? And let's do it one more time. We're going to let it go. Slide the arms down and pause. Notice how your body, what is the imprint your body is making right now on your mat? Is it different from when you started? Sliding the legs up, bend the knees up again. Then external rotation, lower your right leg down, maybe halfway before it becomes a stretch. So that's the key. There's a release, and once it becomes a stretch, you're going to lift up a few inches. Now staying centered on your sacrum, so the pelvis is locked down is a harsh word. But the pelvis is as still as we can make it. Lowering the right knee towards the floor, lifting it up. And then slowly releasing down. Notice those jumps and jitters as you release down. Notice the recontraction of the muscle. You don't have to take the knee all the way up. Releasing down, recontracting to lift the knee up. How much does the pelvis move as you lift and lower? Sometimes we borrow mobility from the neighbors. If a joint has lost the full mobility, we put the adjacent joint to work, and they can do it for a little while, probably, but not long term. They will begin to fuss at you. Now, next time you lower your right knee down, slide it all the way out, and then slide the left leg out and pause. Pause and pay attention. And let's bend the knees up again. And we move on to the left hip, releasing down. And where it becomes an active stretch, Re-engage, lift up, maybe halfway up, and then slowly release down. Up and down, easy peasy. Does this side feel like the outside? Remember, if there is pain, then back off until the movement can be done without pain. And then begin to rehabilitate from this point. And next time, you lower the knee down. You're going to slide that out. Slide the right leg out. And pause. Does it feel even from side to side? Does one hip lie higher, lower? Are you centered on the sacrum? That's our sort of compass. We'll bend the knees up again. We'll slide the arms out to about shoulder height, palms facing up. And we'll hook the left knee over the right. Hook the left knee over the right. And then releasing the knees down to the left side, to the left. And then exhale, contract the outer hip. Draw the knees back up. Inhaling, lowering down. And exhale, back up again. Lowering, contracting, turning back up. How does the contraction feel? How does the release feel? Is it an even, smooth event? Or is it a little jumpy? So make it small or smooth out the jumpiness. Smoothing out the jumpiness. Up and down. Inhaling down, there's a little pelvic arch in the lowering down. And there's a little flattening. And coming back up again. As you draw the knees down to the left, lengthen the knees away from your right shoulder in a very gentle way. So a sense of a little arc, again without a stretch, but a release sensation. And we'll do it one more time. And as we come up to center, just unhook the legs. And again, sliding the legs out. Pause and ponder. How does that feel? What did that do? Differences between right and left side. So these pauses are as important as the movement. Remember, if the motor cortex doesn't have access to a body part, it is not going to tell those motor nerves to fire. So we are in the process of waking up and claiming some real estate in the motor cortex. Let's bend the knees up again and hook the right leg over the left. And as you inhale, let the knees draw down and be conservative as you start out. Engaging outer hip, and you may find that you also engaging your waist. So draw the knees back up again. Inhaling down. There's a little arch. And exhaling, pulling back up. Smooth and gentle. No force. Move within a pain-free range of movement. When you take a Feldenkrais class and a Thomas Hanna class, this is emphasized over and over and over. We want to unteach the body from having to move with pain. If it's available, work on creating the arc again as you draw the knees away from the left shoulder. And then you return up again. Away and back up. One more time. And all the way up, uncross. And slide the legs out. Pause. And then we'll bend up the knees and we'll roll over onto the right side or left, if that's the direction you're facing. We're going to do both sides. I'm going to bend my knees up, not for the 90-90, but this is for what's sometimes called the clamshell. You can rest your head on your arm, a pillow, a blanket. So my knees are lower. My feet, my heels lines up with my tush. And my torso is straight. So the back of you, if you were laying up against a wall, the skull, sacrum, and heels would be touching the wall. Take your top hand, so that might be the left, it may not be, right to your outer hip. Gluteus medius and piriformis. Here we come. As you inhale, lift the leg up. Keep the pelvis still. So as you button the pelvis right into one spot, and then slowly lower down. So now we're working against gravity. Inhaling, lifting the leg. When the pelvis begins to move, stop. And then super slow, lower back down. And notice those jitters. Take a full buffer breath in between. And repeating. Lifting. And lowering down. Buffer breath in between. Lifting the knee. Lowering down. Now let's do one more time. So the feet stays together. Hence the name. Clamshell. But we are working more a little bit backwards from how this is often taught. Can you feel the muscles on your outer hip engaging as you lift the leg? Can you feel them release as you lower down? And slowly, 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 slowly. All the way down. And from here, we're going to roll onto our back again. Steady. Left hip, right hip. And then we'll come onto the other side. And I'll spin it out. Again, checking, heel, tush, back of the head. And I can take my top hand again onto my outer hip. So I can feel that these muscles, gluteus medius and piriformis, are indeed firing. Lifting the knee, keep the feet together. Slowly lower down. So I'm not counting you down on this one here. For your own purpose, you could count 8, you could count 12. But because everybody has vastly different hip anatomy with this one here, I want to leave that up to you so you are not going to be straining. Keeping a close watch of your sensation on the hip on the floor, that you keep that buttoned in, not rolling onto the back of the hip. Is it smooth or is it a little jumpy? smoothing out the bumps. Smooth and easy. Do one more time. We'll let that go. And come all the way on to the abdomen. And we have to talk to the big guns too, the glutes. So we'll leave the head down. We'll start with the right leg. Now press the hips down. As you inhale, lift the right leg. Keep the knee straight. And then slowly lower the right leg down. Once down, take a full breath in and out. So the glutes is what has to fire this little event up. And we're taking the hamstring out when the knees are straight because the quadricep is keeping the knee long. We'll do it again. Press the hips down and then straight leg, lift the leg, hamstring. Knees wants to help out a little bit, but it can't help out a lot because again, the quadricep is engaged, so keeping the knee straight. And then lower down. We'll do that one more time. Press the hips down. Lift the leg. Lift, 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 lift. And lower down. Let everything cool. And then we'll do the other side. Pressing the hips down. Lift the leg. And then as slowly as you can, straight knee. Lower the leg down. The last week we worked on the hamstrings. Different positions. And hamstrings are a part of the hip extension, but not as powerful as the glutes. Glutes have to turn on. Let's take a buffer breath. And we repeat. Lifting the leg. And as slowly as you can, lower, lower. So it's my left leg. It might be your right, but it should be the other leg. One more time. Press the hips down. Lift. And lower. Now let's tuck the toes under. Place the forehead on the back of the hands. And then inhale, press the heels back. And then lift the head, lift the heart, draw the belly button up, 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 up. is another movement that targets those pesky psoas. Breathing in and out. And we'll repeat that. Tuck the toes under. Press the heels back. And we inhale, we lift the head, heart, draw the belly button forward, 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 forward. And lower down. Pausing. And then slowly find your way onto your back again. With the legs stretched out again, what's the imprint? And we'll bend up the knees. And so now we have worked all the way around the hip complex. We're going to again go back up and talk a little bit more with these deep core connectors. Yep, the psoas. Now take a breath in, and as you exhale, press the right hip down into the mat. And then let that go. And repeat. Press the left hip down. Now you have to isolate using just one side. And as you press the right hip down, the left floats up a little bit. So you're no longer staying even on the sacrum. Pressing down and lifting up. I'm going to go to the left side. Press the left hip down and relax. Notice, does it feel the same on this side? Pressing, just the left, the right side is completely passive. But it might want to help out, I know mine does. Moving in opposite direction. Drawing the right hip up towards the right shoulder. And then letting that go. And we'll repeat that. Draw the right hip up towards the shoulder. And let it go. So now as your pelvis has become a little turntable or lazy Susan, which I think is one of the funniest names for a piece of furniture, but that's just me. Left side, left hip draws up and letting it go. Again, in a lazy, easy way. As you come back to neutral, we're going to put these together. 2 movement patterns of the hips, and this is basically walking. Let's start by drawing the right hip up towards the right shoulder. Pressing the left hip down, we'll take the right hip up. And move the right hip forward and plant it down. So now the hips are moving as if they were the wheels on a locomotive or bike pedals. Moving. And now shift your awareness. So maybe you're following the right hip. Can you get the left to bide your commands? For me, the left is the non-dominant side, so it is a little bit more sluggish and needs a little bit more reminding. And then as you come to I said neutral, none of this is neutral. You're just going to let that one go. And we're going to pedal backwards. Pedaling backwards. Your lower abdomen has to negotiate. The knees are staying relatively still here. And the feet are passive. Bring your awareness to the non-dominant side. You may need to get a good rhythm going, but then maintain awareness of the side that may seem a little not eager to join in. And let that go. Let's slide the legs out. Rolling the legs in and out. Sweep, 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 sweep. And we'll draw the legs together. And we'll interlace the fingers, pressing the palms towards the sky. As you inhale and draw the arms over, draw the heels to, or the tailbone towards the heels. So we're consolidating to the midline. And inhaling up. Interlace, or switch the interlace of the hands. Pressing up, tailbone to heels. And again, extend. Length. And let's take the arms up. Then pause in Shavasana. So allow the legs to separate out. Arms relaxing. Everything relaxing. As if you're breathing in and out with the entire body. The breath is just the wind moving through the soft grass. And the grass is flowing a little here, a little there. No restrictions. And then I invite you to begin to deepen your breath, wiggling fingers and toes. You'll bend up your knees. Maybe rock the knees from side to side a few times before you roll over onto one side. Give yourself a breath here on one side. Before you push all the way up into a comfortable seated posture. And then we will close again with Om Shanti, 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 Om. And we let that healing vibration of this beautiful chant for peace vibrate both within and outside of ourselves. Let's take a deep breath in. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti Om. Thank you and namaste.